Hi, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through how to install and get started with Oracle AI database. That is 26 AI using container image. So, like it is the quickest way to, like explore Oracle's next generation and AI powered database features. So, the key points with respect to using or like installing the AI database with container image is like it is completely free to use for let's say for learning and for testing. So if you want to test some code with 26 AI, so yeah, it is free to use for those purpose. And also like it's a fast way to set up to set it up because the database runs inside a lightweight container. And the next point is, it has built-in AI capabilities. So when I say built-in AI capabilities, like to name few, it may be vector search. We will talk about vector search shortly, and also LLM integration and AI functions. So these are the built-in capabilities. Like there are many more, but these are the main things. We will discuss them. And next point is like it runs using Podman or Docker. You can use either of them, uh, and you can run them on Linux, Windows, or Mac operating system. So, and this one is like in case if you are a developer or you may be a DBA who wants to explore new DBA database DBA features, and also like developer who wants to explore new features with respect to 26 AI, or like AI or ML enthusiasts who wants to explore Oracle's latest invention. So they all can make use of this environment. It is pretty, like fast to install, and you can start using this database within within a short period of time, like within 30 minutes, you can build this environment. So now, as I said, the most popular word in today's AI world is vector search. Before heading, like into how the vector search is accommodated inside Oracle 26 AI, let's understand what this vector search is all about and where what is the relation between vector search and Oracle database. Let's say you have an LLM. So LLM is nothing but large language module. So the best example, so let's say LLM means large language module. So the most popular example is ChatGPT. You can have Gemini or Olama or whatever it is. Like the most popular one is ChatGPT. So in ChatGPT, let's say you have ChatGPT LLM, and as a user, you you ask some questions or like prompt, and LLM will answer you with an output. Imagine that this LLM, this LLM is built with huge amount of data. You can say data sets. So let's say this LLM was refreshed last, like on November 1st, it got refreshed. And now today you are on November 20th. So there is almost like nearly 19 days difference between the refreshed, like uh, the data got refreshed on November 1st and today is 19th. It means there is a gap of 20 days. So because these LLMs are trained in such a way that like they tend to generate some response even when they lack reliable information, which can lead to incorrect or fabricated answer. So why I'm telling this is, so there is a 19 days gap between the last refresh the and today's. So it means in between there are many new datas might be available, but this LLM will will not tell you that. It will try to give you the fabricated answer. So this situation is called LLM hallucination. So this LLM, basically, like LLM hallucination refers to like when large language modules like ChatGPT or any other modules produce an output which is factually incorrect, fabricated, and also not supported by real data, but presents it as if it is true. So in our case, even though the data is refreshed on November 1st and we are asking questions on November 28th, whether it is right or wrong, it will produce some data. So this situation is called LLM hallucination. So in order to overcome this LLM hallucination, we use a concept called RAG. So RAG is nothing but retrieval augmentative generation. So let's take an example of, you want to review your AWR report. So now you have some questions on AWR report, or like you have like prompt, you can say. So now you have your LLM, which is having like little bit of old data sets. When you want to review you have the question. So let's say you have RAG. Now what happens is, even though it is the data is refreshed on November 1st, you are uploading the data AWR with RAG. We'll discuss about how the RAG things works in detail now, but you upload the AWR report. What this will do is, along with the prompt, it refers to AWR report, and then validates with LLMs, and then it will give you the outputs. So in this way, even though you have old data, or uh, even though it is not a relevant data, it will give you the actual output by referring to the facts. So now when I say, like I will upload the data to RAG. So RAG works in 4 stages. In the stage number 1 is called data ingestion. So data ingestion is nothing but like it will load the data. So let's say your AWR report is in PDF format, or it may be in HTML format. So you have to upload this PDF to uh, the RAG. So this is called, we need to load the data, that is data ingestion. Next, once the data is loaded, it may be the PDF file and all, right? So it may be 100 MB, or like it may be 200 MB, or whatever may be the size. It will divide it into chunks, and these chunks are this this step is called splitting, also called data splitting. So there are different splitters available in the market, like so they will make use of that, and they will split the data into chunks. So once the data is splitted into chunks, then we need to embed this data, also called embedding. So there are different embedding techniques available depending on the LLM. So, and also these chunks, the reason for divide splitting the data is to accommodate the inside the LLM. So once the data is splitted, it will be embedded. So each and every chunks which got splitted will be assigned with embedding, vector embeddings. They are also called vector embeddings. So for example, like this chunk will be assigned with vector embedding of 0000100, something like this, and also, and the next chunk will be assigned with 0000200. So like this, like let's say 100 MB, you have chunk size. You will give the chunk size when splitting. You will give the chunk size. Let's say we will give 20 chunks. So 200 MB file will be divided into 20 chunks, something like that. So these 20 chunks will be assigned with vector embeddings, and these vector embeddings need to be stored somewhere. That is called vector store. So vector store is nothing but a database, or like vector database, you can say. So there are few open source and freely available vector stores are there. The popular one is like FAISS. It is from Facebook AI storage, and you have AstraDB, you have ChromeDB. So there are multiple vector stores available. Now, what Oracle is doing is it has given you vector objects or vector data types. Using vector data types, you can store these, like whatever the embeddings you have. So these embeddings will be stored in vector in Oracle database using vector data type. So let's head in, like let's open the presentation. So in the presentation, so 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 as I said, it is like Oracle has introduced its first AI infused database. And like as I told, it has like AI native data types, which is used to store uh, vector embeddings. So these vector embeddings need to be stored, and uses that which uses vector native data types. So, and also like it has vector indexing. So the indexing is used to make the optimizer use the better plans, so that it gives in a quicker search. So and it is having vector embedding vector search engines and also built-in AI assistance. So high performance memory layout for AI. So along with other buffer caches, it is introduced vector buffer, fast embedding cache, so parallel vector similarity search. So this similarity search is again like, let's say you have these chunks, and it is having 001, 002, or 003, and like similarity search works like, let's say you are searching between apple and orange. So let's, like, since these two are similar, like, I'm just giving an example, it's not exactly like this, but these two are relevant objects stored somewhere. So similarity search will go and search in this way. So there are multiple things, but these are like few important AI related features uh, with respect to this 26 AI. Along with this, there are 300 plus new features available. We can test those using the container image based database. So, and also, like this, it's a free container image, and it is free to use, and you are not supposed to use on production. So it is only for non-production usage. It comes with two flavors. One is full image, and the later one is little image. Full image supports all the database features provided by Oracle AI database 26 AI. And also, like the small version, like it is a stripped down installation of the database. Like, in case if you don't want all the features, you just want few features of the database to be tried, you can make use of this one stripped down installation of the database. So it is lightweight compared to full enterprise installation, and it comes with sample schemas. So then, as I told, it is you can install using Podman or Docker. So when it comes to, like, so you may ask, like, what is the difference between Docker and Podman? The main difference is, like, this Docker is a client server model, and it requires a daemon to be Docker daemon should be running in the server or on the host where you want to install this container. Whereas Podman, it is like a daemonless process, and does not require any background process like Docker. So it just runs. It's without daemon process, and it is lightweight compared to Docker. And you need minimum 2 GB of RAM, 12 GB of storage, and as I told, it works on Linux, Windows, or Mac OS. And see, if you see, this is, like this command also will install the container database, but there is a light disadvantage with respect to this. The reason is, like the port 1521 will be assigned only to the container. It will not be assigned to the the, the host. So the connect, like, let's say this is your host and this is your container, so your Oracle container. So now this one, when if you create install with this method, it will, what it will do is, it will assign 1521 to host, but it will not assign the IP port to the container. So in order to avoid this, we need to make use of cluster configuration. So I will show you the demo on how to use custom configuration to install the database. And then, like, once the in case if you use the default way of installing, here you can see that there is no option to provide the password to this one. So in that situation, you can use change default password for sys users. Like, in case of configuration, using custom configuration, you can have this particular parameter set to set the password while installing itself. So that is the advantage when you use configuration over default installation method. And these are different commands to log into the pod using SQL Plus. So how to get connected using SQL Plus. So this is to install the light version. So later, in case like if you don't mention anything here, just if you mention just the latest, it will install the full version. In case if you mention light, it will install the lighter version. So these are the next is like features not supported in Oracle AI. So there are many new features, sorry, many features which are not supported by AI. So here is the list. It may be Oracle text, yeah, or you cannot use data pump. Many features like these are not supported by 26 AI. So let's move on to the practicals. I will show you the demo. So now let's, like this is the server. You can see that, like I have around 12 GB of RAM. So I'm going to use for this one, for this demo. So, and you can see that I have around 140 GB of disk space. So this much is not needed. You need maximum of 12 GB. But just for the demo, I just had enough space for the demo purpose. So let's install using the default method. So as I told, I will just copy this. So it will take a few minutes. So to install, I will pause the video and I will start it once this installation is completed. So the installation is completed. So let's, like you might have seen in the PPT that, we have used the direct method of installing. So now we have to change the password. So let's change the password. So this is the command to change the password. So we'll move it here. Podman XEC. So I given, so here you can see that I have given Podman run -d name. I given the name as my AIDB, and this is the container registry. So basically it is downloading from the internet. So if you see pod ps, you can see that a pod with my AIDBS created. So now you can see that as I said, only the host IP is host port is present, whereas the container port is not created yet. Or I think like this is container port and the host port is not here. So let's create the password and log into pod as sys. So how to connect? So how to create the password? So podman exec, then my AIDB, then you can say set password dot sh, and let's say I will keep password as PASSW password. So you can see that it connected. So when you pod exec execute, then database or the pod name, and inside the pod the script is already present because it's a built-in thing, and I'm giving this password as my password for the system. So now let's uh, connect to the database. So there are different ways. So the first method, uh, is like, let me explain you this. So now see, this is my host, that is my ORA26 AI. This is the host name. This is my host, and inside this I created a pod. The pod name which I created is my AI DB. So now first, so what is the command to connect to the database? First, I can connect to this pod. So from this pod, from this host, I can connect to this pod first. This pod is having OS, so connect to this first and then do SQL Plus. So so before that, let me explain you how this pod works. So in regular servers, you have the hardware, and on top of the hardware, you are going to install operating system. And once the OS is installed, on top of it, you create the libraries and the dependencies, and then you install Oracle on top of it. But here, in case of the containerization, what happens is you have hardware, then you have the software, OS, and then you install container software, containerization, container software, that is Docker or Podman. In our case, we used Podman. And now using Podman, what we will do, you have a pre-built packages present in the internet. So using Podman command, we will install the pod. So that is my AI DB pod. So this is having operating system, libraries, dependencies, and all those things, and also Oracle database. So this is, everything is installed in this pod. So you can have multiple pods. So not only one pod, you can have pod 1, pod 2. So multiple pods you can install. So now, as I told, my host is, so this is my host, that is Aura 26 AI. Inside this host, I created a pod. This pod name is my AI DB. This pod is also having OS, libraries, and all those things. So now what I'm doing is, and also you have Oracle database. Now first I'm logging in here and do SQL Plus. This is first method number 1. Second method is from the host, that is from Aura 26 AI host, use SQL Plus, SQL Plus, and use the username, password, and port, and all those stuff. Next, third one is using Podman, use exec command -it interactive terminal, then give the pod name, in our case my AI DB, then use SQL Plus, then sys as sysdb. So I will give you the syntax. So these are the 3 different ways you can, like, give the sys or system or whatever the username you want to connect. You can use that one, sys or system, or any other user you can connect. So now let's first, what we will do, we will connect to the OS, and then we will log into the database using SQL Plus. So now, host name, you can see that we are in Aura 26 AI. This is our host. So here we have Podman PS. This is the pod, my my AIDB is the pod which I created. So what I will do, podman exec -it my AIDB, and then I will give bash. So what it will do, it will connect me to the operating system of the pod. So here you can see when I executed the podman exec set password, the reason is this is already pre-built inside the pod. So that's the reason it is present. You can also give df-h. It will give you the details of the mount points inside the pod. You can see there are multiple things available here also. So now let's see whether the database is running or not. So there is a free database running. So give host name. So this is a container, you can say it is the container name as the host name. So this is how. And now let's do SQL Plus. So first set the environment. So free, hit enter, SQL Plus sysdb. So no need to install libraries, no need to install dependencies, no need to install operating system, nothing. And not even installing the Oracle software also. You are, just execute one podman command, this command, it will install everything for you, and you have your database ready to use. Now, so this is first method of connecting. Now the second method of connecting to this, let's exit from this. So you can now let's connect using the SQL Plus, the using giving the password podman exec -it. So now this is my AIDB, my pod name, then SQL Plus sys, I given password as password @ so free is my database name as sysdba. So see, from the host I'm connecting using podman, and now you are in SQL. So select name from $database. So you can see that database, like you are logged into SQL Plus and query the database. Now the another way to connect is by installing the client. And so let me explain you this. So now this method we checked, it is working using podman exec command also. This one also worked and this is also worked. So now we need to work on SQL Plus method. So how to do this SQL Plus method? So in this one, so this is my Vara 26 AI. Let's say I want, and you have, our pod is running with my AIDB is the pod running, and you have our we have our Oracle database here. Now I need to do SQL Plus by sitting here and connect to the database running inside the pod or inside the container. So for that I need to install Oracle client. So also, like, see, in case if you need to connect from SQL Developer or Toad, so any of these tools you need, which is installed, yeah, inside the host, you need SQL, like client, Oracle clients to connect to this one. So now let's install Oracle client on this one, on Vara 26 AI, and then we'll do SQL Plus. So let me install the client. So I copied the client RPMs under this folder. So these are the RPMs. So we need to, so basically we need basic, devel, and SQL Plus, but like let me install the other dependent softwares also. So the command to install is rpm-ivh. Give the basic. So it won't take much time. Client installation is always faster. So next, rpm-ivh. This is basically an instant client. rpm-ivh SQL Plus ivh tools rpm-ivh JDBC or ODBC. So in case if you install full client, there is no need to install each and every tool. It will come, it will be bundled everything under one file. But I'm installing this the instant client. So this client will be get installed under user library Oracle. So and also client 64. CD pin. So here, so the SQL Plus is there. So now we need to connect to this one using SQL Plus. So now let's connect to the pod, the database which is running inside the pod. So how you connect? You can give SQL Plus, then sys at the rate. I will give you. I will give the host IP 192.168.86.21. Then the port number is 1521. Then free PDB 1. This is the container database has sysdba. So you can see we are getting no listener. So now let's see connections are working. Telnet, give this whether the connection is establishing or not. So yeah, so now you can see that when you run telnet, it is saying no name or service not known. So this is unknown host, it is telling. The reason for that is, like, if you give Podman PS, you can see that this port 1521 is the container port. So you need, as I explained previously, you have, so I think let me draw it one more time. You have this particular, so in our case this is our Aura 26 AI, and you created a container by name my AI DB. So this one got created with 1521. The database is running under this. So but you need something to get connected from here to here. So you need the port number. So let's say you are a user, you want to connect to this database. So for that, let's say this IP is 192.168.86.121. So now you need to provide a port number in order to connect to this server, so that you can get a connection established to your pod database. So for that, like, this is missing. This is the reason I said, when you create or install the database using container image, using default method, that is as shown in this presentation. So in the default method, when I use this one here, you don't have the option to mention the port for the host, whereas in the custom method you can see here, you can give host port to 1521. This 1521 is container port. Host port also you need to mention. So what we will do, we will remove the podman ps. So clear podman ps. So we will remove this one. So how to remove? Podman stop ps. Sorry, podman stop. So it will stop. Then podman rm my AI hyphen f. I will use the force command. So now what I will do, I will use this command to connect. So you can see podman run -d name. I'm giving this 1521 is host port, 1521 is this, the later one is a pod port or container port, you can say. And then the password is, I'm just giving as Oracle as a password. Then this is the registry. So this is the registry from where you are downloading the things. So you can see it is faster. Since the previous repository is already there, so that's the reason it is much quicker. So now you can see podman ps. Now you can see the difference. So here, if you see, only the container port is mentioned, whereas here host port as well as container port is mentioned. So now we'll do SQL Plus. So R will do telnet 92.168.1521. So what did we try? Still it is telling unknown host. So let's do SQL Plus. SQL Plus is at the rate. So yeah, you can see that it got connected. I don't know why this telnet is not working, but this is I will check that one. That's how the connection happens. Okay, I did a mistake there. Let me tell you that. So this is how it connected, but the telnet why it didn't work is I given this semicolon. Yeah, you can see that, like connected. So you can see the connection is establishing, whereas like in the previously it was not connecting. So escape. So now let's connect to podman exec, execute interactive mode, then mydb, then bash. So you can see, so I use the configuration method here to build the database again. So this is the command I used. Where is that? Yeah, so this is the command I used to build from configuration method. And now you can see let's set the environment ls nrctl status. So you can see that, like all the it is connected to container database. I mean, the services are mentioned for free database, container database, and all those stuff. So yeah, so here ends the demo of this. So if you have any doubts in configuration, please comment below. I will try to answer them. Thank you.